Do you have an opinion in this case as to whether or not there was a design defect in the Allen Warner profemur R stem?
Yes.
What is that opinion?
My opinion is the design defect occurred because, as best of my knowledge, there's no specification as to the parameters and depth of the laser marks.
Well, Dr. Ayers, I want you to assume that there is a parameter, and that parameter allowed for laser marks to be made as found at laser mark 6 and 7 as at 106 and 125 microns as shown on exhibit number 37. If that is the design specification, do you have an opinion as to whether or not there's a defect in that design?
Yes.
What is that opinion?
So if we look at the Warner device, we see clearly 7 laser guidance marks. And if the design spec were to truly state that there was a very specific depth for each laser mark, well, if the fracture initiated either laser mark 6 or 7, which were actually are significantly deeper, or roughly almost 400% deeper than the most shallow laser mark, yet we can still see the shallowest laser mark, there was no point in designing a deeper laser mark.
So do you have an opinion whether if the design provided for laser marks at more than 100 microns in depth, do you have an opinion as to whether or not that's a design defect?
Yes.
What is that opinion?
That is a design defect.
Do you have an opinion in this case as to whether there is a manufacturing defect in the Allen Warner stem?
Yes.
What is that opinion?
So if the design, say there was a design spec that specifically stated the laser marks shouldn't be any deeper than 25 microns plus or minus 5 microns. So we would say our most shallow would be 20 microns, our deepest would be 30, still visible. Then there's a possibility that the laser itself was not well controlled. So now you have laser marks that vary, with a variation of, like I said previously, roughly about 400% between the shallowest to the deepest laser mark. Then the process itself, the design is valid, however the process, the manufacturing process, is defective.
So for your opinion on the manufacturing, that aspect of the manufacturing defect, you're assuming that there was a design specification?
I am assuming that there was a design specification.
And you're assuming that design specification provided for a laser mark of, what, 25, 28?
Roughly 25, yes.
With that assumption, I want you to assume there's a design specification and it provides for laser marks of approximately 28 microns. Do you have an opinion whether, as manufactured, the Allen Warner stem is defectively manufactured?
Yes.
What is that opinion?
This device was defectively manufactured.
And is that opinion to a reasonable degree of certainty in the field of material science?
Yes.
Dr. Ayers, do you know whether there are any alternatives to manufacturing a stem such as the Allen Warner stem with visible laser markings other than in the depths that appear here?
Yes.
What is that opinion?
The first and most simple is that, as I was talking about earlier, by controlling the laser power and the amount of time, simply making sure that the laser is within a specification of power density, rastering. So,
Did you say, I'm sorry, what was that word, raster?
Raster, correct. So the first thing is just making sure and not having as much power in the laser. So you have enough power to get a depth no more than, say, 25 plus or minus 5 microns. That is your maximum power setting.